Welcome everyone to this brief video about your adult online night school course. In the video, I'd like to just talk about a few things that I often get questions about. First, we should talk about how we communicate. Second, the hub. We'll talk about some timelines, some of my best advice. I think you've seen that web page because you're in the hub and watching the video, but at that web page, I'd just like to point out that you want to look out for the Outlook icon, of course the hub, and there is a way to set up a reset feature for your password if you want to. You can always reach out to me and I can do my best to help you out with the password. So first of all, email. When we communicate, it's often by email. Even when really anyone else is going to communicate with you, it's going to be by email. That'll be an Outlook. I think students sometimes get confused and expect the email to end up in the hub, so just keep an eye out for that. When you go to Outlook, you should it should open up your web browser for you. If you look on the right, there's a place to click on some settings, the little gear. That'll be helpful later on. You can also click there to set up some email forwarding. We'll talk about that in a second, but please recognize your emails. Our communication will show up for you in Outlook. So if you don't like using Outlook and having a whole bunch of different emails, then you can certainly forward the emails that would go to the school Outlook account to whatever email address you'd like. So you go to that gear, you click on or type in forwarding. It gives you a place to put in your personal email address or some other email address, and then any emails that come to your school email address will end up going to that other email address as well. And that way you'll understand or keep in touch with all the communication. The other thing that you can get out of Outlook is Microsoft Office. And Microsoft Office is probably what I'm going to recommend for doing your coursework. So there are many different ways in which you can complete the lessons and complete the assignments. However, I would suggest you do it online. And one way to get a copy of Office, which includes Microsoft Word, is to go into your email, click on your account, and look for your account there. Now the actual way to get there will change, so I can show you another way to get there as well. But at the time, I can tell you my email address is mwelsh@hwdsb.on.ca. It's on the course website. So in the email or website you see on the top there, if you click on the left or go to the left and you look in the top left corner, you'll see a bunch of squares. If you click on those squares, that should open up a list of apps for you, and you can get Microsoft Word through those squares as well. So again, if you're looking for a way to get to Word, there are pictures in the top left with a grid pattern. Click there, you'll get a bunch of different apps. But in this slide, I do want to mention that you can click on the hub to get your course. You probably already know that. You can click on the little squares you see there, which has the second arrow or the arrow to the right, and that's of course where you'll find your courses. The course page should look something like that. Please read the announcements when they come up. But under the content, you should find 18 lessons. There's some information about the exams. Of course, if you have questions, you can certainly always email me. The assignments is where you're going to upload and submit your work. Please submit a PDF of your work, an RTF or a doc. I can open those, but I won't be able to open a dot note or dot pages. If you're unsure, a PDF is the easiest way to submit your work. And you can just use your whatever word processor you're using, Google Docs, Microsoft Word, whatever you like, and save your work as a PDF. The grade section will have some lesson scores and some feedback. If you have any questions, of course, please ask. There aren't any quizzes in the course at the moment. When you see that email piece there, it'll open up a dialog box and you can send me an email, but please understand that you won't receive your email in the hub. And I think that becomes confusing a lot of the times. So please make sure you remember to use Outlook for emails, but you can certainly email me from the hub, but you won't see a reply in there. I'll do my best to reply to emails within 48 hours. It's 2 days. Usually it doesn't take that long. Sorry, one more slide. In terms of supports for students, there are tutors available. I believe they are in person. I believe they are also online. So please look on the first page you see in the course for the links to the tutors. Of course, there's a whole bunch of great sites out there that you might enjoy for a variety of different topics. I'll do my best to add those to the course. My best advice for learning the material is to read the text that's provided Generally, if you can read it more than once or twice, you'll get your best understandings. Generally, you read the first time just really quickly. You're looking at subtitles, head titles, and making very brief notes, or sorry, not even notes, but just very cursory view of what you're going to read about. The second time through, you would read the notes in more detail, take notes at that point, highlight your work, and do what you can to predict what's coming up next in the text. I want you to focus on understanding the key concepts. I'll provide feedback for you for each of the lessons within a week. I can often tell you that it's usually the weekends, and that's a pretty good time for me to mark it and give you feedback. And so if you check in on a Monday or Sunday, you'll often see your marked results. As for answering your questions, I'll get you some examples in a second, but you want to read the material to understand what the ideas are about, and instead of thinking of the assignments as a list of questions. If you focus on the big ideas in the lessons, you'll often be able to apply them to the questions. In terms of some planning for your timelines, please think about when you need to submit your work at the end and work backwards from there. The course is going to have your first 9 lessons and then a midterm exam. Once you submit those first 9 lessons, please feel free to send me an email and remind me of that. Or if I notice that you've submitted your 9th lesson, when I mark it, I'll do my best to send you an email with instructions about how to write your midterm exam. Then you complete another 9 lessons, and then you write your final exam. So there's some process in there, and you need to, I think, understand the need to of course, plan that out so that you get your work prepared for the due dates that you want to submit them for. There is a little bit of processing at the end. I'll do my best to mark your work within 7 days. Sometimes it gets really, really busy, but I'm pretty good at hitting those due dates. If you want to get me to get through them more quickly, please give me some heads up. But I can't guarantee it, but I'll do my best to move things along if you're in a bit of a rush. There are some due dates that end, so please check that on the course website. Like I said, I'll reply to your emails within 2 days. The lessons are about 7 days. Sometimes on the weekends I get a little backed up, but usually marked Saturday, Sunday morning. Okay, and again, if you need a rush, just let me know. I think when you answer your questions, it's the best if you can communicate how you think about the question as clearly as possible. Some of the questions ask for a strategy. The strategy is just the way that you're thinking about the question. How do you understand the terms and how are you applying them? I find students sometimes think that's a place to put in like a page number or reference. You don't need to do anything like that, but if you want to put in some quick notes about how you're thinking about the material, I think that's really the best way for me to help you, is if you can tell me what you're thinking about. So there's some examples. The picture on the top just provides a page number for me. I'm not really sure how to make sense of that. If the answer is right or wrong, I don't really know what to suggest in order to do something different. However, if you look at 33, the student's taken some time there to explain what they were thinking and how that helps them answer the question. And so at that point, I can think about this from their perspective and maybe give some suggestions about what to try differently or how to think differently about the terms. And I hope that's more valuable. When you're doing multiple choice or the matching questions, please clearly write your letter of your term. Even if the matching questions, please write the letter of the term. I find when students have a chance to sort of write a bit, they write sort of in between some choices, and I just need you to be clear about your answer, please. Some of the questions will ask you to submit some drawings. Please make sure that they're your own drawings. You can combine your work into one digital document in a variety of ways, and I can show you some suggestions. If you really wanted to go all the way and make the best out of this, use Microsoft Word, go to Insert, find Pictures, and generally you can sketch anything with a piece of paper and a pencil, take a picture of it somehow, and then upload that picture into your Word doc and submit it that way. If that isn't going to work for you, what you can do is go to a variety of different websites. Just go onto your favorite web browser, type in merge PDF, upload your files, and then hit merge or whatever the instructions are on that particular website. And they'll allow you to download one document, one PDF generally, that has all of your work in one file. Okay, so please consider trying that. What I'm looking for in most of the questions is your understanding. What do you know about the concept and how are you applying it to the question? Sometimes the questions seem a little outlandish or unrelated, and one of them that I find most interesting is about salt on steak and water on vegetables, and they come up in the biology courses because they're about biology concepts. And I'll often get people who give me recipes for cooking food or how to wash vegetables, but the question is not really about that, and it's about the concepts that we're learning in those lessons. So try your best to communicate as well as you can. Consider using Microsoft Word or Google Docs or whatever word processor you want, so you can use spell check and grammar check. And try your best to help me understand how you think about the questions. I think it's best when you answer the questions in your own words. A quote in its own right, if you only answer with a quote, I'm not sure how to think about your thinking there. So please just help me understand how you're using that quote to answer that question. If you do provide quotes, please tell me the source. You can give me the URL, the website, or your page number if it's coming from the course website, something like that, or the course text. I don't need you to worry about a really detailed citation. If you want to keep doing those, that's fine, but I'm really more interested in you telling me how you think about the material, and that way you don't have to really spend your time with the citations. But of course, if you borrow anything word for word, it needs to be in quotation marks. Okay, if you have any questions, of course, please let me know. I hope you have a great day.